Hello people of YouTube, my name is Ali Lynn. I'm 21 years old and I am an introvert. I thought about starting vlogs about myself and what it's like to be an introvert who has chronic anxiety and social anxiety and anxiety about everything you can imagine. I want this vlog to be really real, and I don't want things to be fake, and I don't want things to be dressed up. So I've been thinking all morning about starting making these vlogs, and one reason why I decided to start right now was because I've spent all morning having an anxiety attack and crying my eyes out, and that's why I look like a hot mess. I have not brushed my hair, I have not gotten dressed, I have not brushed my teeth, I haven't made my bed, I haven't done anything but lay on my couch and have anxiety and feel like a loser. So here I am, completely real, no makeup, I look horrible, and that's what happens whenever you don't care at all. Because all you do is hate yourself and have anxiety. I've never really made vlogs or videos. I feel weird and I don't know what to say. I feel like I'm talking to myself. I am talking to myself. This is my room. I'm actually sitting on my couch. This is the back of my couch right here. I'm like facing the back. There's like this door I have my phone sitting on to film this. And I can't stop looking at myself. I'm sorry. I guess I'll start from the beginning. I'll say stuff about myself. Okay. I think the very first anxiety attack I can ever remember having was when I was about 5 years old. I was at, I think, a cousin's birthday party at a park. We were sitting under this pavilion, whatever those things were called, shade things, and there was so many people, and there was lots of people passing by because it was at a park, and I went over to drink at this water fountain that also had this little water fountain below it for like your dog to drink out of. And I was so fascinated by that, and I was like, this is so cool, it's so cute, and I was messing with the water, and a lady walked up, and for some reason I thought it was my mom, and I started pushing the button, and I'm like, and I wasn't really looking at her, and I was like, Mom, look at this is so cool, Mom, I'm trying to get her attention, I'm like, this is really neat, look at this is so cute, and then I looked up, and I realized it wasn't my mom, and I have no idea why that freaked me out so much, but I was so upset, like, horrifically upset. I was just humiliated, and I had horrible anxiety, and I just have this memory of sitting on my mom's lap and crying my eyes out. Crying and crying and crying because I was so embarrassed, and I had so much anxiety, and it freaked me out so much that I was talking to this woman who wasn't my mom. And I guess that's one of my first experiences with social anxiety. And then when I started to get older, things... Okay, slow down, back up. I have been homeschooled my whole life, so I haven't really had any, I haven't had a lot of social experience. I literally spent my childhood at home with my 3 sisters, playing outside, just... The only social interaction I had was when I went to church. I went to church twice a week, Sunday and Wednesday, and I had my best friend, Leanne, and that was it. She was my friend. I went to church and I hung out with her. We went to each other's houses since I was, a baby, 2 years old. She was my best friend. And that was literally the only social interaction I had, and I didn't have any brothers, and my only male cousins that I was close to lived in Texas, and that also made me uncomfortable around guys. Like, I'm so uncomfortable around guys. Like, I don't even know how to act. It's horrible. And so I pretty much spent my whole childhood and early teenage years isolated from the world. I wasn't involved in any kind of social groups. I wasn't, I didn't go to any kind of co-op. I wasn't in any kind of sports or music lessons or anything. Nothing. I went to church. That's what I did. And when I started getting older, things in my life happened, and I started losing my friends, and I started becoming really uncomfortable around people, and I didn't know how to act, and I didn't know how to be, and all of that nonsense caused me to pretty much lose all of my friends. It was all my fault. And everybody just thought I was crazy. All these rumors going around, and I was just losing my mind, and I pretty much was. And so then I pretty much stopped going to church when I was about 15. Like, I still went because my parents made me, but I would just, like, go to service and not youth or children's church or whatever it was I was going to. Because I couldn't see them. I was so embarrassed, and I was so depressed and anxiety, and I literally couldn't leave my house. I didn't even leave my house hardly ever. That's why I have this problem, I think. But I just had so much anxiety about going places. I didn't want to go anywhere alone. Like, I couldn't go into a store and buy something by myself. I had to have somebody with me. By somebody, I mean one of my sisters. I couldn't order for myself at restaurants. I still can barely do that. Sometimes I'm like, oh, good grief, I can order for myself. But then other times I'm like, please do it for me. I can't talk to anybody right now. And it's such a hindrance on your life, and you don't even know how to survive. You don't even know. I gotta keep pausing this video because I keep having anxiety, and I'm just talking to myself. Oh my gosh. Like, it's prevented me from getting a job, and it prevents me from being able to drive, and anxiety currently controls me. It controls my life. It took me until I was 19 to get my driver's license because I was terrified. I hate to drive. Anytime I would drive, I would like get these horrible stress migraines, and I'm just shaking, and I hated doing it so much. And I used to live in this really tiny town, and so driving around there wasn't that big a deal, and I finally started getting comfortable driving around there. I could do it pretty well without freaking out. But we last summer moved to a different town, and it's really busy. There's cars everywhere, and I just can't. I literally cannot drive. And we have this, I don't have my own car because duh, why would I? We have this Expedition, and it's really big, and I am terrified. I used to live on a farm with this big front yard. I didn't have to look behind me when I pulled out. I would literally just whip out, and it didn't matter. Now we have our cars parked in a driveway and these really narrow streets, and I'm just like terrified of running into our mailbox or another car, and I'm just like, I have all these things I need to do, like go to the bank or go to the post office or run to the store, and I like have to beg my sister to take me because I can't. And I hate myself for it so much. It just makes you feel like the most pathetic person in the world, because everybody else is like, I can't wait to drive, I can't wait, and 16-year-olds getting their driver's license and a job and a car and living their lives, and you're 21 years old and you still live with your parents, and you can hardly even breathe sometimes. I have no reason to. I feel like the most selfish person in the world. I'm like in this beautiful house with this family that loves me so much. And I have this beautiful room and this comfy couch I'm sitting on. And my biggest problem is that I'm afraid to drive. I'm afraid to get a job. When I have these opportunities, I can drive. I can get a job when there's people in these countries, women who don't even have these opportunities, and I'm sitting here crying because of my anxiety. Like, what is even wrong with me? How do you even cope with that? You can probably tell I completely keep losing my train of thought because I'm like, my brain is like, I keep having to pause it because I keep forgetting what I'm gonna say because of my anxiety. Like, I feel like I'll end up turning into one of those things on Facebook. Like, look at this girl, she's like crying because she's afraid to drive, and then there's this one person who's like super successful, or I don't, whatever. But when I was 17, almost 18, I started cosmetology school. It was a VOTEC. I got in free. I rode a school bus. It was horrible. 45 minutes away. Great opportunity though. I'm really glad that I did do it. The first and second day I almost died of anxiety. Like, literally I almost threw up on the way. My mom drove me the first day and the second day, and I literally was like just shaking, and I almost had a breakdown. I can't believe I didn't. I literally cannot believe I went. I cannot believe I walked through the door and sat down. Like, that is like one of the biggest things in my life, that I actually went and didn't fall apart. Of course it got better, you know, you just have these expectations, you have these fears that control you, and you're like, this is how it's gonna be, and you're gonna fail everything, and it wasn't that bad. It wasn't bad. The only bad thing was, I was the only homeschooled person in my whole class and the whole cosmetology program, both years that I was there. And so, you know, I was literally treated like a unicorn, like, because I knew certain things that they didn't know, or they knew a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't know. You know, I didn't have experience in the real world at that point, or pretty much still. I mean, all I had was all I had. I was horribly socially awkward. I didn't know how to be around people. But, I mean, I still graduated, and I passed my cosmetology boards. Of course, now it's been 2 years, and I have not gotten a job as a cosmetologist because I don't feel qualified. I don't feel like that. I don't trust myself to go work in a salon and be a professional. These people coming in expecting me to know exactly what to do. I don't feel like I'm qualified for that. Even though I went to school, and I was one of the best in my class, and I passed my boards. Here I am, not being a cosmetologist. Like, what? How pathetic is that? Free education. My parents paid for everything that I needed. My kit, my uniform, my shoes. They drove me there when there wasn't a bus. Drove me to the bus every single day. And what am I doing? I'm sitting here complaining about having anxiety and losing my mind. It's humorous, isn't it? It's humorous. How pathetic I am. Conclusion. Anxiety is the worst. Social anxiety is the worst. Hating yourself this much. Being this freaking selfish. I don't even... Alright. I don't know. This video is probably like the worst thing ever. Probably just like totally doesn't even make sense. How many times I keep losing my train of thought. I don't know. My hopes are that there are going to be people I can relate to, that people will be able to relate to me if they feel this way and they feel alone. Not alone. There are more of us out there. Maybe it will help give insight to some people who don't understand anxiety or social anxiety. Those are my hopes for this vlog or channel. I don't even know if this will ever turn into anything, but I want a job where I can just stay here, sit here, and not talk to people and not go into the real world, which is horrible. Okay. Pip pip cheerio.